Hello, welcome back to another Loon Press podcast. Very excited today because we have our latest poet from the added to the Loon Press library, Elena Stack Martin. Elena, how are you?
I'm not too bad. Good. How are you keeping?
Not too bad, yeah. I was excited today because we had a bit of a hiatus from the Maynooth market, but we were back today, and I was very happy to have your book at long last at the market today for Lily Briscoe and Other Poems. Um, You're based out in you haven't like you've only have the draft copy, you haven't got the physical copy yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, so because I'm in Austria, I still have my sample copy. It says not for resale over the top,
Yes.
over top, and like I have shown a couple of my friends it. They come into my room or whatever, and they'll see it there. They say, "Oh, is this the book?" And I say, "Yeah, but this is the this is not for sale." And we
Not for
did a
sale.
couple of edits. I remember in this one even so. Um, yeah, but there a couple of them have ordered over here as well. So no, it's very exciting. It's overwhelming, like the amount of support from everyone so far. It's just been incredible. Like friends, family, of course, being the first to pre-order and try and get their hands on it and share it with everyone so that it gets out there. It just like it's so exciting. It's so exciting because it's finally I'm finally letting go of it in a way, you know. It goes from being this private project that was, you know, worked on behind closed doors at my desk and not shared to now not really belonging to me anymore. You know, it's out there for other people to enjoy and interpret and use for their own personal understanding and meaning making. And I think that's just like one of the parts about being published that I was most looking forward to, I think.
Yeah, it is surreal, I suppose. Yeah, when it's no longer under your remit and it's just out for the world to interpret. That really kind of hit home for me. I think you shared a post the other day. One of your friends was in Paris, and seeing the
Yeah,
lovely Parisian streets in the
yeah,
backdrop in the book. It was kind of, I was like, oh wow, yeah, it's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, and so you're in Austria at the moment on Erasmus. Um,
Yes, yeah.
yeah, how's that going?
It's genuinely one of the best experiences in a long time. I was only meant to be here until January, but I extended my stay because I just was not ready to go. Like time went by so quickly. I've made so many friends. A lot of them did leave after the first semester, because they weren't staying for the full year. But even so, a lot of people did stay. And like, I mean, the, the one thing I have to admit is I have not been able to learn German, which is a it's an issue in a sense because I'm not fully integrating over here in a way. Um, language is a huge factor to understanding any culture, and I'm not really getting that because here the German classes are provided by the uni, but they are not included in the like tuition fee that is covered by my home university at Trinity.
Wow.
So paying an additional like 250 to do German, which it's not really in the cards for me at the minute. So I that's one thing. And then trying to interact with Austrians and pick up German through them is quite difficult too because they speak such good English here.
Uh,
And everyone understands, and even when you ask to try and learn, they do end up speaking English with you because they also want to learn English. So
wow.
it's kind of
Yeah.
yeah, and there's a lot of Irish people here too. So it's kind of like I found the home away from home, which tends to happen when Irish people are abroad. We kind of
Yeah.
just,
Well, surely you've picked up a bit of German while there, no? A small bit.
I suppose, like the little things like the greetings and the Austrian dialect as well. Like instead of hello, you'd say servus, which is that's
Yeah.
uh one thing. Or when I'm going to pay with cards, I have to know these, but very very minimal stuff like
Yeah.
uh yeah.
Yeah. That is
It's a
it.
little bit of. I do hope I pick up more now, but
Yeah.
I mean I haven't tried and it's not been going very well.
Yeah, I mean that is the
Um,
problem, I suppose, with English. Yeah, and I suppose we just everywhere we go, we presume everyone knows English. I remember I was in Germany there last year, and I was in a bar. Michael, my sister, she did Erasmus in Hamburg, and we were in this bar anyway, and I went up and I just ordered a drink in English. You know, I didn't even think to try to say German. And the
yeah,
bartender, she looked at me and she was like, now she had perfect English herself, and she's like, "Do you speak German?" And I was like, I was like, "Oh no," you know. And I felt sort of guilty then, like this, I could have, presumed, "Oh yeah, you must know English," kind of attitude, and kind of made me think twice about it. But yeah, no,
yeah,
it's yeah, but I mean, hopefully, you never know. I mean, you are bilingual. You speak Spanish as well, I believe.
yeah. That's right. So that also opens up a lot of connections here too. There's a big group of Spanish Erasmus students here as well. They kind of
Mm,
do stick to themselves, but
mm,
we do see each other and it's good fun too. But another thing I was going to say is also because I'm taking my classes, I study English, so I'm taking my classes in English. So I'm also not exposed to German through my subjects, whereas another person may be studying psychology or communications even might actually have to take some classes through German, but there's actually enough classes for me to take here in English that I don't need to worry about
mm,
having to sit an exam in German. So I
yeah,
didn't have to have that push, which is both handy and a shame in a sense. But I suppose, yeah,
yeah.
you can't do it all.
No, no. And I did actually, I wanted to ask you as well about, because obviously you're on Erasmus this year, but you're a Trinity student, Trinity College in Dublin. What's it like studying English then at Trinity College? And I suppose has it really opened up your world in terms of like understanding poetry and I mean definitely the poems we see in this collection. There's very conscious of form and things like that. So
Yeah,
has college helped you with that, or did you already sort of have that vision before you became a student?
absolutely. University has been huge.
Yeah.
Trinity has like really made me, and it's self-conscious as a writer, and it makes the writing brilliant in the end after lots of editing. But the first few drafts are torture because, well, yeah, you're taught all these amazing writers, and the way that the professors explain everything is so clear and profound and insightful. And so I do hold a lot of expectations for myself when I start a piece, and that can be tricky. It's not very productive for me. But anyway, that's a separate thing. But yeah, no, Trinity has been incredible. I suppose the way I started, I chose to do English as my degree by the time I was starting sixth year in secondary school. And I chose English because initially I was going to do journalism, and I just thought I'd keep my options open because I also really enjoyed creative writing.
Mm.
And I'm glad I did that because, yeah, I think the degree covers so much from history to philosophy to uh, the poetics and forms, different forms of poetry and prose and all kinds of all kinds of writing really. Um, so I guess I had written poems before, a good few. Garfield's Got a Gun, I think was written when I was maybe still in secondary school, or it could have been in first year of college. But I fixed a lot of things about it. It was different before this. I revisited it kind of.
Yeah,
Um,
just to show our viewers here, the Garfield's got a gun. The See what people mean here when we say, I don't know if they can see this, maybe it's blurred out, but
yeah,
they can see the shape of Garfield there.
yeah,
Um, yeah, in the way the words are laid out. Maybe we can read a poem from the collection. Is there anyone in particular that you'd like to maybe read for us?
yeah. Let me see. I suppose whatever. I suppose we haven't read for Lily Briscoe yet.
The title,
I
yeah. I mean the
love
title
them
poem, yeah.
so.
Yeah. Why again? Well, actually, maybe you can read it first, and then you can tell us a bit more about
Yeah,
why Lily
sure.
Briscoe and who is Lily Briscoe as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. So whenever you're ready, there.
perfect. Whatever about the sun that splinters icy water, whatever about the grief that bagged my eyes, whatever about the love that lured me down the lanes and pinned me like a dart against the board of a retching phase where the edged pages rejected the acid of my tears, so the letters became pestering flies that failed to buzz. Yearning has an evil eye that blinds my word from the life I see. Language has a secret spy that will not steal my life away from me. I closed my eyes to describe the communion girl, but failed to render how she tumbled down the grassy hill from the chapel doors, propelled by her mother's velvet voice. Arms weakened with laughter, a goddess lifted up her daughter's frocked heart, stained green. She'll get to live the life of dying angels that she'll never know. One doesn't sing in mourning, so I kick myself up and into my own hands, palms creased with linear prophecies, draped beneath a black mantilla, blasphemous for my words to deface, natural for the rosemary lady to trace.
What's mantilla? Oh, I was saying mantilla the whole time. Mantilla, yeah. Okay.
Mantilla is a Spanish word. And actually, now this might seem apt because we're coming up to Easter time. In Seville, where my mom is from and where I'm half from, uh, there's a big tradition at Easter, Semana Santa there, right, for Holy Week. And they have processions with floats and depicting the different scenes from the Bible of when Jesus was, say, being crucified, or there's scenes from like of Pontius Pilate, and there's a particular dress that a particular outfit that the women wear, and it'll have a black veil. It has a black veil. It doesn't really go over the face. Usually, it goes behind. It's kind of clipped up. You'd have to look it up.
Mm,
Mantilla,
mm,
Semana Santa, and you'll see it. The woman
yeah.
wearing it. It's beautiful. But I guess what I was going for more there was um in this context, the mantilla is in front of the face, but it's more because I wanted to use the Spanish word, and I guess the image of a face behind a veil, like a veil would obscure your vision,
Mm.
kind of. So I guess
Well,
this
you don't
is
have the wonder of poetry is you don't have to tell people or justify what you've written, because then they can interpret it themselves, I suppose, as well.
yeah.
I thought you were going to say was the thing
And
that
even when I try to explain it, I come up with my own new interpretations every time. Like I know that when I was writing this, I had a very specific meaning in mind, but every time I come back to it, it's something new. So I'm almost lost myself for words when I try to explain it to someone.
yeah.
And I just feel it's as you say, I'm better off not doing it at all because it's insignificant in a way, right? It's
Yeah, I mean,
for someone else to interpret.
yeah, that's it's nearly like it comes from sort of a higher place where it's there can be lots of different meanings from it. Yeah, but I thought you were going to say it was the cloth that was used to wipe Jesus's face. There's a
See, it
bit.
could be so many things.
Yeah, yeah, there's so many ideas. Yeah.
There
But
is
anyway, I
religious
wanted to come
meaning
back
there
to the
as well.
question of. Sorry, did I interrupted you? Did I?
No, no, I was just saying that like there's definitely the religious
Oh
imagery
yeah,
there.
yeah. Um, yeah. So I wanted to ask you about Lily Briscoe. So I still haven't actually read it. To the Lighthouse. I need to I need to get my hands on a copy of it. But obviously, Lily Briscoe is the protagonist of To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf.
Yeah.
And she was definitely the inspiring force behind this pamphlet. So tell us, yeah, why Lily Briscoe? Yeah.
Yeah, so Lily Briscoe is as you said, she's a character from the novel by Virginia Woolf, To the Lighthouse. And I had read this novel years ago by myself. And I remember really enjoying it. Um, but this was before I was in college, and it's like what I told you with writing. College really conceptualized a lot of my understandings of poetry, whereas before I kind of it was more of just an intuitive practice. Like I would just kind of do it, and the same with reading. Like I would read, I would know that oh this is good, but I wouldn't have the terms to say why it's good, you know. So we read it again in was it second year for our modernisms class, which was well, in Trinity, at least for our first 2 years, we have lectures and tutorials. So it was lectured by various different professors. And my tutorial leader was, well, one of the people who endorsed this, Professor Philip Coleman. And we discussed many different modernist texts in his class. And he's partly why this novel is kind of so experimental because it's so inspired by this class on modernism. And anyway, so Lily Briscoe, she just really resonated with me as a character, especially on the second reading. But I think I was always drawn to her because she's a painter in the novel, and throughout it, she really struggled to paint exactly the vision that she has in her mind. Um, and there are various different challenges that cause that kind of frustration, like that barrier between her hand and her head. So like I felt like that kind of is an experience for all creators of any kind of art or any craft at all, really. Um, wanting, especially if you're a perfectionist, wanting to have the result exactly how you imagined in your mind. And for me, that's a thing, that's a recurring issue I have with language and with writing, especially in the initial stages of composing a piece. It's a frustration of feeling like I don't have the words um, to say what it is I want to say,
Mm.
um, and for it to carry the meaning and the emotion that I wanted to carry.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just not a linear process. And you see that with Lily Briscoe. Like for her, she's for so much of the novel, she's painting this, and then she leaves it for a few years, and then she comes back to it at the end, and she does her final strokes, and then she gets it. Then she has the final painting, and I just remember being so happy for her because I was like, I know what you mean, you know.
That's cool.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that was that's just that element of it, her, and I think just the novel in general, I was really um, in love with all the techniques that Wolf uses with kind of that stream of consciousness, flow of consciousness writing. I think I do a bit of that sometimes, and I think I get it a lot from my journaling habits. And then also the switching perspectives. Those are two big things that happen in the novel all the time, constantly, and it allows you to see into what the different characters are thinking. And I think one of my favorite perspectives while reading was Lily Briscoe's, to be honest, as well as the mother in the novel too. She was very interesting. She had some cool insights. But yeah, and then I guess it's a short book. It's digestible.
Mm.
But I think the beauty of it is that you take your time
Mm.
with each one. Um, Again, when I was writing this, I was thinking a lot about modernism, especially the kind of London movement, because yeah, Woolf, Joyce, T.S. Eliot, all these guys really inspired me. Yeats as well, and I really like I really like the Wasteland when we read it. I really like the way it kind of jumped around a bit.
Mm.
It, and there's so many little references in every poem to other older poems and so on.
Mm.
And I think there's a lot of references in this actually too. Obviously, cannot compare this to the Wasteland,
Wasteland. Yeah.
but I'm just saying that that's kind of, these are the people that I was looking up to while I was writing this. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So the beauty of this being short is that you take the time to digest every
yeah,
stanza and to try and think of what each line relates to from different canonical texts, or even just something that you maybe personally have read. Can you draw connections from this line with another poem? I think that's just like such a,
yeah.
it's really nice
I
when that happens.
Yeah, in my experience, yeah, I tend to like if I have like say Kavanagh selected poems, I might read one or two poems a day as opposed to like reading through it like a novel. You know, it's you kind of have to have a different approach. I think
Yeah,
if you're just reading through them to read them and get through them, you're not really taking them in. You know, they're a bit different in that way. Poems, so absolutely. Yeah, I think Eliot, he had so many little things packed into his poem. And in fact, I think he came out with like a little reference textbook afterwards to help, or like not even to help, but like to because I think people found it so obscure, and this book
yeah.
actually made things even more complicated because he'd have like loads of footnotes that would bring you to these like random old texts and biblical references, and it would just, you know, I think he enjoyed that a bit. I think he enjoyed not helping people make it clear.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
cool. And on one hand, it's kind of, you know, it can be it can be a bit pretentious, you know, when it's not when you're not guided. Like I have to say, I was also very fortunate to have had such great professors and a tutorial leader to guide me through the wasteland, you know, because
yeah,
there are so many things that I would have missed out on otherwise. I
mm,
feel like, or at least maybe, you know, if I hadn't spent so much time on it too. Um, I think they're very precious aspects of reading poetry. You kind of do need sometimes to have a little bit of a guide. It can be helpful, not always, and you don't need it. Sorry, you can form your own interpretations, but I guess if you study literature, you're kind of eager to know where something came from. I think all
yeah,
the time you kind of have a tendency to try and pick at it and see where did this come from, because
yeah. No,
almost everything is a retelling at this point in time.
yeah, it can be fun, yeah, to pick things apart. Some people find it tedious, but I mean it's enjoyable for many. But you have your fingers in lots of literary pies, and this is another one. Uh,
Yeah.
Hearth, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, you'll have to tell us about Hearth because Hearth has been sort of a bolt out of the blue, and sort of it's been very sort of I think it's really inspiring actually, you know, a group of Trinity students coming together and creating a magazine. Tell us how that came to be.
Yeah, I think this story, it's whenever I tell it, I kind of smile as if I'm in love with someone because it's such a lovely story. We so it, I guess Trinity has a lot of literary magazines, but a group of us decided that we wanted to start our own because, well, we would gather in coffee shops and we'd have some great conversations back when we all met in first year. And we all had it in common that we wanted to write and share our work together. And I remember saying in my experience of workshopping with my friends, and they felt like they would love to have a space like that to share your work and so on. So we kind of started it where it was just our group. Um, and then we decided to kind of open for submissions for issue one, the official first issue, which was the grotesque. Um, and that was a challenge because we'd only done one issue prior where we weren't open to submissions and we were still quite new to it, and we still are very new to everything now. Like we still have a lot to get right and learn. But I think that's kind of the point of what we're doing, is that we started from scratch and we're kind of building our way um up, or just making it better with each issue. Um so yeah, we started without a name really. We would sit down together and talk about the mag. Um but it did come a time where we said, okay, we need to put a name on this. And we came up with the name Hearth because I suppose that Hearth, it's kind of the center of the home. It's where people gather. It's where the fire is lit. It's warm. It's welcoming. It's where the good conversations happen. And I think this magazine, because it was so inspired by conversation and dialogue and sharing ideas, we wanted to have a name that captured that. And I think Hearth did it very well. I think it might have been Owen that came up with that name as well. So fair play to Owen. Uh,
I think the mag would have been a cool name.
the mag, it could have worked. I mean, we
Yeah,
still call it the
yeah.
mag, you know.
Oh, did you get this copy or the latest issue of the mag? Yeah, but yeah, I know Hearth is still very nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
has a nice meaning behind it. And
So we have
yeah.
issue 1, which is the one that you have. We have issue 2, which is uh, this
Oh
is
yeah.
issue 2, passages. This one's also quite cool. It has featured writer Kevin Power in it, and so much fabulous artwork and some amazing writing from our contributors too. And issue 3 is coming out shortly too. We have yet to announce our launch date for that, but that's on the Romance of Runes.
Are you allowed to drop a sort of a hint at who the next featured writer is? Because I know in collection one, huh?
Yeah, she would have contributed to some of Trinity's publications previously. So
Sorry, did you say her name? I missed her name, did you? Or are you not allowed to say?
no, I did not. I just said she. So there are your
Oh,
2 hints.
okay, there's 2
Yeah.
hints. Okay, right, interesting. Because I know you got John Banville for the first,
Yeah.
the second issue, I suppose it was, and then you got Kevin Power for the one you had there in your hand. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out then for issue 3. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Must be surreal, I suppose, like reaching out to these sort of like established writers and like, hey, do you want to submit to my or mag, and I suppose generally they're very, very happy to do it because I know John Banville just had this story lying around, like, and he's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of we were lucky with that one as well. Like, to unfortunate for a writer to just say, yeah, here you go, here's your mag. We kind of reach out to a lot of people as well, like a few people to give ourselves options just in case some of them don't get back and whatnot. So it's kind of a tedious process. And this most recent issue 3, has been quite tricky to get finished because we've all been away on Erasmus too. So scheduling meetings and like time differences, because say Conor, kind of the head editor, he was in Conor, the head editor, he was in Canada, so he was kind of tied down with his time difference, and so it's been much slower to get out, but we're almost there, and we're very excited for it to come out. And I'll be looking after a good bit of promo on social media too, so kind of glued to my phone these days, which is not where I like to be. But of course, you have to chip in your part. So that's a bit of my role, as well as looking after the art with Charlotte as well. So we make a great team. Yeah,
We do,
make a
yeah,
great
and it's very ambitious as well to set up a magazine in the middle of your second year of studying English in Trinity. As I imagine it, with all your assignments and work going on as well.
God,
It wouldn't be easy. So fair play, and hopefully it continues long into the future.
yeah. It all kind of it all feeds all the different aspects of our learning, like personal and educational journeys, I think all help to build these creative projects. It's all kind of intertwined, really. There's, again, going back to this connection, like this is a mix of the personal and the educational journey that I've experienced, and like it's very so it came from, as I said at the start, it came from a very private place. Um, to be honest, I didn't know if this would get published. I kind of initially wrote it just because I needed to write and I needed a deadline to keep myself accountable. Um, so yeah, being having it published was a surprise, to be honest. But yeah, now it's, I think when you go back into yourself, like the more you go into yourself as you're writing, and the more you try to forget about, what other people would think while they were reading this, or other people's interpretations and whatnot. The more you think about just your vision while you're writing, I think the more universal it can actually be.
Yeah,
it's
think so.
kind of a contradiction.
Yeah, well, you have to write from your own experience, and then from that, other people can relate to it and stuff.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how much people relate to something that you think only happened to you, and it's not that way at all.
No.
Yeah.
And I saw the other day, I think after we sent out the initial orders, I think you suddenly had this burst of inspiration because I saw you'd purchased a new notebook.
Yeah, I
Been going
have it
through
here.
Oh yeah, you must have been going through a patch of maybe writer's block, or maybe maybe not much output, but I think you suddenly were like, oh wow, yeah, and then
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I'm still working on this in a way. Like I'm still sharing it, and it's still happening. Like this is very, very important right now. So kind of all my thinking is going towards this, and then uni and being in this new country and all these experiences that are new. I'm just trying to absorb them as much as I can. And I have found that, trying to sit down and write them, I have had this, again, overwhelming feeling of not being able to do what I'm experiencing justice with my words. So I kind of think just, I think I need to just live a little for the next while. And, once I have all this input, which I already have, and I think, I just need to,
marinate.
yeah, let it marinate a little bit,
Marinate,
and
yeah.
then I'll come back to it and I'll write about this because there's just so much happening, and yeah, I do want to keep track of it all, but there's only so much you can do, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Well, look, we have about 6 minutes left, so I think what we
Yeah.
might do is maybe if you could read maybe another poem or another poem from the collection,
Yes.
if you
I
like.
got nervous the first time. I might have stuttered a bit, but
No, no, you were. It was lovely. Yeah.
I public reading, so yeah. Which one shall we do? Garfield's Got a Gun. I could do. Seeing as we talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to add, because I mentioned that this was one of the poems that I had kind of written before and then returned back to. And we were talking also about Trinity and how that's influenced. This was one of those poems that I think my knowledge of form and genre and stuff shaped too, because this wasn't originally shaped like a cat. That was something that I came up with afterwards when I realized how fun it can be actually to play around with the formalities of poetry on a page. It's actually quite fun. Like, you don't have to stick by the conventional stanzas, which, also have their own meaning in themselves and they can portray different tones and stuff, Like this
Yeah.
when it comes across as more serious, this might come across as more lighthearted.
More playful, yeah.
But it does have your message. It does have its own message in it, at least for me. But I've already gotten back to some messages of people who really like this one, and I'm glad that it's found its place in the world too. So yeah, I'll read it out anyway. Garfield's Got a Gun. The cat has bitten my tongue, and he stole my lucky pen. Then the cat pissed on my paper with a pistol in his paw. The pistol looked too solid, too bulky in his fur. No, the cat ain't got no fingers to shoot me where it hurts. So I stole his shiny bullets and wondered at my page. If I just keep on trying, will I pet the cat one day?
Yeah, it's a fun poem.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my lunatics, the person subscribed to me. He actually messaged because they all get copies of the book as well, and he
Yeah.
messaged me to say he really liked the Garfield poem.
I'm glad. I'm
You
glad.
know.
It's so fun. And
So
the cat can mean so many things to different people, it's just kind of take
yeah.
from it what you want. I don't know. It was a fun little poem to come up with in here. Took
Well,
a
look,
while to get the words right onto the Word document,
I'd
but
say so. Yeah, I'd say so. Um, Well, look, anyway, so for our viewers, this collection will be launched in the Winding Stair Bookshop on the 31st of March. There's actually a few collections already in there, delivered already. But yeah, we'll be launching 6:30 to 8:30 on the 31st. It's a Tuesday. So what else are you going to be doing on a Tuesday? Sure, may as well come on down, and we'll have a few pints after somewhere. And yeah, good crack all around. So, Elena, that's all I think we have time for today. Great to have you on the podcast at last.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. And I look forward to seeing everyone as well. It's been such a long time since I'm over here in Austria. I'm looking forward to being home and seeing everyone as well. I think it'll be a nice get together too. So do come along if you can.
Absolutely. And also check out Hearth Mag as well. I'll be sharing links and excited for issue 3 when it comes out. But look, Elena, thanks for coming on today, and yeah, we'll see you very soon. Please God.
Thanks so much. See you soon. Bye.